Hello and welcome to another Explorer video. It's time for our yearly revisit of the Bard Class deck, since we featured this deck a few times now, but it keeps getting more and more tools, especially now with Pioneer Masters adding cards like Oath of Nissa, Xenagos, and a few others. So the centerpiece is still Bard Class, a 2-mana enchantment saying legendary creatures we control enter with an additional +1 counter on them, and for an additional 2 mana on level 2, now legendary spells we cast get a red and green mana discount. So we've got a lot of 2-mana creatures in this deck that we can essentially cast for free through a Bard Class, and then lots of other cards with red and green in their mana cost that will significantly benefit from a level 2 Bard Class. And then if we can get this to level 3, now whenever we cast a legendary spell, we get to exile the top 2 cards of our library, and we may play them this turn. So especially when all of those spells only cost 1 mana, or we get to cast them for free, we can chain together a whole bunch of them and basically win in one big explosive turn. So that's the plan. Now, of course, we're not always going to have Bard Class in our opener, but we can increase the consistency thanks to Commune with Spirits, finding an enchantment, or maybe a land in the top 4. And then Oath of Nissa does not find Bard Class, but it is a legendary permanent that we can cast for free with a level 2 Bard Class, and will also trigger the level 3 ability. And then we've got Mox Amber as another free way to maybe trigger a level 3 Bard Class, and also benefits from having lots of legendary creatures and planeswalkers, so this can also tap for an extra mana, so that makes it easier to get to the level 3 Bard Class in the first place. Then I've got a few copies of Tortured Tower, which is pretty good against all the prowess decks in the current metagame, and we can also easily sacrifice an Oath of Nissa to enable Bargain if needed, or maybe a Mox Amber if we're about to play a second copy anyways. And then our 2-mana creatures include Ruby, which is one of the most important ones in the deck since it can immediately tap for mana. So with a level 2 Bard Class, this actually generates 1 mana for us, which is very important when we're comboing off with especially a level 3 Bard Class active. Then we've got the Bodyguard, which can protect our legendary creatures if we sacrifice it. Gallia can pump up our other satyrs, and now we actually have some satyrs in the deck thanks to Xenagos making satyr tokens, but we'll get to that in a minute. And then if we attack with enough creatures, Gallia also lets us discard and draw 2, so that can also generate some card advantage, maybe get rid of excess legends we no longer need on the battlefield. And then Agatha gives our creatures a discount for their activated abilities, including her own, and if we play it with Bard Class, it already picks up a counter, so now we can activate it for just 4 mana, giving our team a +1/+1 trample and haste. Can be a great way to close out a game after casting a bunch of free creatures. And then we also have the Firstborn, which can maybe fight opposing creatures. And then Targnar also benefits from Agatha's ability, as we can also activate it to double its power and toughness until end of turn. Pack Tactics, a way to pump the team as well. And then at 3 mana, we also have a 1-off Miglos, which will benefit from Agatha, as we can activate the abilities on the cheap, maybe destroying opposing artifacts and enchantments, or giving it +2/+2, or maybe Vigilance and Menace until end of turn. And then a Klothys, an indestructible god that can slowly exile cards from graveyards, can also be quite useful, and we often have enough devotion for Klothys to be active. Then Domri, another way to immediately make mana, and then can also pump up our creatures or give us access to a removal effect if needed. Burgi can be very fun with a level 3 Bard Class, as it generates additional red mana whenever we cast a spell, so now every free spell adds a red mana for us. And then Samut also plays well with the other haste creatures in the deck, as we can start drawing additional cards with them now. And then topping off our curve, 2 copies of the Partners, also very good with Bard Class, since they now get to move 3 +1 counters at the very least onto another creature, giving it haste. And then a Xenagos, a new addition from Pioneer Masters, can generate a lot of extra mana with a +1 if we're just comboing off and need more mana, but can also make satyr tokens turn after turn. And then finally Samut, Voice of Dissent, another way to give the entire team haste if we're just looking to combo off and win the game in 1 turn. And then the mana base has the legendary lands here, Boseiju and the Crucible, getting a nice discount from our legends, so we can often channel them for just a single mana. Boseiju, another answer to artifacts and enchantments. And then a couple basics in case we need to surge them up. Den of the Bugbear, a creature land against control. And then lots of red-green dual lands that will be untapped in the early turns. So yeah, that's our deck. Now let's jump into some games and see how the deck does. Okay, we're on the play. We do not have Bard Class. Is this hand still keepable? I think with Ruby and Mox Amber giving us a mana boost, it's still somewhat reasonable. So we can play Ruby, probably want the Mox Amber in play first. And then I can still either Targanar or Oath of Nissa afterwards. I guess we'll be more mana efficient here. Opponent considers. So likely a blue-red Phoenix deck. For now, both Partners and Samut are tempting. I think we get the Partners going. Our opponent had the Lightning Axe, discarding Treasure Cruise. So I'll still Oath of Nissa. And find Gallia. So next turn I could double spell Samut and Gallia, which will draw us quite a few cards. Opponent's already maybe looking to delve a Treasure Cruise. Ooh, Bard Class. So we can start there. I'll level up. And then I guess it doesn't really matter since I'm gonna end up tapping out, so may as well tap Ruby. Save myself 1 damage. Play free Gallia. And Samut. They seem to have another Lightning Axe. Alright, that's too bad, so we don't get to draw any cards now. But next turn I could level up Bard Class even more, and then all of a sudden we could start comboing. Although I guess Brazen Borrower also a way to bounce our enchantment. Opponent can cast a 1 mana cruise. Draw 3. There's 1 Phoenix in graveyard already. So we'll see. They could wait for us to level up Bard Class all the way, but nope, we're just going to bounce it now. So they will get back a Phoenix. And it's going to try and play defense. So play Bard Class. If I attack all out, then I would get to discard and draw 2. Our opponent can just trade here. So, yeah, that's not particularly exciting. I think we just level up and pass. And then now if we can top deck any legends, we're in business. Phoenix still playing defense. And a Mox Amber. So yeah, we'll attempt to level up. Hope they don't have another Borrower. And then now casting Mox Amber triggers Bard Class. Find another Mox Amber and a Clothis, pretty good in this matchup. So we're off to the races. Can still play Boseiju. We already had one in play. Play Mox Amber, which will let me play Burgi, so we can actually start generating even more mana. Probably could have waited to see if we exile the land first. And then Torch, the perfect answer to Phoenix. Oh yes. Play Domri. Another Mox Amber.
Let's see some painkiller shits. We won't answer the other dudes.
And then I'll be able to play Samut as well. Backup Ruby makes a mana for us. Bergie's doing some good work as well. Free Oath of Nissa. Keep an eye on our library size. And yeah, our opponent has seen enough. We can exile Arclight Phoenix and potentially just attack for lethal here. Sweet, on to the next one. Okay, we're on the play. We've got a decent hand for not having Bard Class. Is it good enough? Yeah, I think so. Turn 1 Oath. And land is fine. Opponent with a fairy, so might be a ninja deck. In which case I might want to keep up Torch to take out a creature they try and ninjutsu. So I'll wait for them to put the creature in play. Alright, they just dealt 1 damage. Take my turn. Play Domri. And then now I can make mana. Could play Gallia, or we could keep up Torch still. Yeah, I think that's safer. Don't want my opponents. I guess next turn they could ninjutsu Kaito as well. But I can maybe just take out the Miscreant then. Alright, they had a Drowner. They waited to tap my creature down now instead of maybe tapping Ruby in upkeep. Yeah, I guess that happens. So I have to decide now what to take out. It's probably the Drowner, since if they ninjutsu that, they can pick it back up. Alright, Mutavault gets busy. Attacks Domri. And a Mockingbird copies Miscreants, draws a card. That's pretty nice synergy. Alright, so if I make mana, play Gallia, we can channel this for 2 mana. So I guess I can afford to play another Oath. Find Bergie. Might actually play this Horn of Bounty. Although we could also trigger Gallia, I suppose. And just discard Bergie to draw. Since these tokens have haste, they also get pumped by Domri, so they do hit pretty hard. And not a huge improvement. Alright, so we're gonna lose Domri. Still hang on to the Mox Amber. Right, Thoughtseize, I guess, a reason to run it out, but we're not really gonna miss it. But if we drew Bard Class and level it up, then it's nice to have a legendary left.
No, put me back in.
Migloss isn't bad. So cast it before attacking. That also triggers Ruby. Although we might see another Drowner tap down Gallia. Goes for Ruby instead. There's nothing I want to activate here. Draw 2. Boseiju could be an answer to the Mutavaults. And we've got a backup Gallia now, so that worked out. Time for ninjutsu. No, just an attack for 2. Alright, I'll take out the Mutavault now. Bodyguard isn't bad, but let's see if this attack works, so we maybe get to draw 2. And then I can still use Migloss after attacking. My opponent had another Drowner, so they have to decide mitigate damage versus mitigate card draw. So that works. Ooh, another one, I see. Well, they've drawn all 4 copies, I guess. So no card draw with Gallia. Not gonna bother attacking. Instead play Bodyguard and pass. Might see the Drowner activate to get rid of Migloss, but nope, opponent just gonna scoop it up. Alright, I'll take it. On to the next one. Alright, we're on the play. We have a hand that seems okay despite not having Bard Class. Turn 1 Oath. Sadly wouldn't be able to find our enchantment, but can find another creature. And then Mox Amber still sets up a turn 3 Xenagos. And I'll take Clothis. Turn 1 Prototype, so this might be the blue-white Metalwork Colossus type of deck. So that could be a pretty fun matchup. For now, Bodyguard versus Gallia. I guess we may as well get in for 2. Since I'm more likely to play a Xenagos next turn. Foundry for ramp. So yeah, the opponent's also playing a Leyline Axe to help discount the Metalwork Colossus. But luckily for us, they didn't have it in their opener. And yeah, the synergy between Gallia and Xenagos is quite funny, since there's not too many satyrs being played otherwise. Let's get the Synthesizer. And a follow-up artifact, another Foundry. Alright, so let's say we start with Oath. Could also go Bodyguard, Clothis, and then make mana with Xenagos. That probably makes more sense. So red, green. Play Oath. And find Samut. And attack. Alright, so next turn Gallia can maybe discard Copperline Gorge. Other opponents down to 6. Let's see if they can stabilize here. A Leyline Axe triggers Synthesizer. And a Metalwork Colossus now too. Alright, so our opponent is definitely starting to stabilize. Double Colossus. Fair enough. So those tokens are not messing around. Alright, so Clothis exiles Oath, puts their opponent to 5. They have 5 blockers. So are we in a position to attack just to trigger Gallia? Not really. But I can at least block, make indestructible to soak up an attack from the opponent. And then probably just keep making satyrs. Yeah, I think I play tap land still. Inventor's Fair can get another artifact. And I guess equipping the Leyline Axe also quite threatening on a 10-10. Opponent got another Colossus, casts it. Yeah, our best hope is finding a Bard class and then somehow comboing off from there. Partners. It's probably not going to be good enough. But yeah, I still don't really want to attack here just to get a redraw of Gallia. But our opponent's getting to the point where a Leyline Axe on a construct token is lethal, even if we have a bunch of blockers. So yeah, it's not looking good. Possible I should have been plussing Xenagos to work up towards an ultimate. But yeah, now it's probably too late. This probably doesn't matter. And an Ingenious Smith, they might have wanted to switch the sequencing there to get an extra +1 counter. Alright, they found another synthesizer, which they can still cast. So no equipping Leyline Axe, we could still top deck Bard class and maybe combo. Does our opponent start attacking? Not yet. Ooh, we found Bard class. Alright, so play it. And then make some mana. I'll level up. I'll level up again. And then hope this bodyguard is kind to us. A land Domri, so we get to go again. A ruby, that's another trigger. A land, that's too bad. So we get one fight here, can take out Ingenious Smith maybe. But yeah, nowhere near a lethal attack here. Opponent's got 5, 6, 7, 8 blockers. 4... Yeah, we would have one creature going through at most. And I guess, never mind, Bodyguard is summoning sick as well. Alright, let's see if we can survive one more turn. I'll keep making Clothis bigger since it's indestructible at least. Another Leyline Axe, they can only equip one at least. But yeah, that one equipped creature is threatening a lot of damage. "19 power double strike trample." And the opponent's going for it now. So, block here. All our legends will become indestructible. So this has me taking, I guess 19 double strike is still way too much. since that's essentially 40 damage. So I can't really soak up enough. I guess we'll, let's see. Yeah, Bodyguard doesn't want to block the Trampler because we're going to sacrifice it. And then... yeah, there's only so much toughness I can put in front of the Trampler. So I think we're dead. And we end up at -4 life, so still incredibly close. Just needed one more turn to combo off with the Bard class, but wasn't meant to be. Although I kind of wonder, had we maybe fought a Colossus with Clothis, would that have made a difference? But I'll let you figure that out. On to the next one. Okay, we're on the play. We've got what looks like a Keeper. Hopefully Commune finds Bard class. We did. So now we gotta dodge a discard spell. Turn 1 Mountain, Soulscar Mage. So far so good. I think we still prioritize Bard class over torching the Soulscar Mage. Can maybe still do that next turn. But yeah, could have also gone for Bodyguard, Mox Amber, and then Torch, which would have been a very efficient turn. Our opponent red-white, so it might be more of a heroic deck. I'll light up the stage. I guess it's just Boros Burn, as we see Boros Charm, another Swiss Spear. So I'll level up. Play free Bodyguard, which enables Mox Amber, which lets us play Samut. Can attack, draw a card, and then still keep up Torch, or maybe just main phase Torch to play around Prowess. And then Soulscar Mage is the better one of the two. Alright, and our opponent concedes. I'll take it. On to the next one. Alright, we're on the draw. How do we feel about this hand? Yeah, without Bard class, this one's pretty mediocre, I would say. So I'll take a mulligan, found the Bard class, so I'll keep. And Agatha maybe the more replaceable, although it is good alongside Targnar. Still feel like we get rid of it here. Opponent blue-whites. So hopefully no answer to the Bard class, but they might be on control. Yeah, kind of feels like I need to bait out a counter now. I guess we'll try Ruby first. If that resolves, I can still play Oath to find a land for next turn. Ruby resolved pretty swiftly. And probably want to untap land still, even though it then could be useful. So I can empty my hand next turn, Bard class level up, Mox Amber, Targnar, Samut. And an Narset to play. Opponent could have Supreme Verdict to wipe the board. For now, a counterspell. So we get to unleash our creatures. Play Targnar, play Samut, or do we keep some leftovers here? Kind of nice to keep the Mox Amber to trigger Bard class once again. So maybe it is just Samut, finish off Narsets. And don't overextend into a sweeper.
We still have much to learn.
And with Ruby in play, we would be able to get Bard Class to level 3 to keep going. Split up, destroy Samut, perfect. So we got our wish. And then now level up. Don't want to play land yet, since I can maybe play one from exile. Found a land and a bodyguard. So yeah, we can play Xenagos, which makes more mana for us. Try partners next. And then we can still commune. Could have also gone for another Xenagos first, I suppose. And then a Targnar smash. Bodyguard protects from a sweeper, unless it's Sunfall exiling our stuff. But yeah, our opponent scoops it up, and we get to rank up here as well. Sweet, on to the next one. Okay, we're on the play. We do not have a Bard class, but we do have a commune which might find it. So I'll try. And that's a swing and a miss. So turn 2 can go Ruby plus Oath. Opponent on Boros Burn. And a Xenagos, which we can cast next turn, making a Satyr. For now, Soulscar Mage into another Kumano. So yeah, Xenagos is unlikely to survive for long, but it still seems worth it. Can hope to trade for the Etching of Kumano. It's going to be a challenger, picking up a counter. And 1 mana left for a Play with Fire, so a lot of angry creatures coming our way. We'll take 6, fall to 10, lose Xenagos. No, opponent leaving Xenagos in play at 1 loyalty. And we found Bard class. Alright, so what can we come up with? Play Bard class, level up. Then I can play a free bodyguard. Xenagos makes 2 mana. And I can still play Samut. I'm gonna keep the bodyguard back. So that was a decent turn, all things considered. Sadly, the bodyguard's not the best in the face of a Soulscar Mage, which can give us -1 counters. But 5 toughness is a lot for the red deck to get past. And then Boseiju could be an answer to an Etching if we get to untap. Although, of course, hoping to find a Legend to start comboing off with a Bard class next turn. It's going to be another Soulscar Mage, that's a fine starting point. Play a land. So yeah, no attacks. I'd love to see it. Although no great follow-up either. So we're probably just making a satyr and then leveling up. Suppose I could attack with Samut first to see how they respond and then maybe end up using Boseiju. Lightning Helix to shrink it down. Alright, so that will eat Samut. Yeah, I could save it with a bodyguard. I guess I would also take out the Soul Scar, because we do add 1 power. So yeah, maybe it is actually worth it here. And then, I don't really want to take 2 to level up the Bard class. Do I want to tap Ruby? Not really. Although I guess it doesn't block particularly well. Question is whether I take 2 to keep up Boseiju for answering and etching. I guess it's not worth it, since I'll have to take 2 damage just to potentially prevent 2 damage. And then now, if they top deck Boros Charm, that's kind of the worst case. I probably block here. Take the trades, and then hope to combo next turn. Alright, found the partners. Start there. And I guess that's already the end of our combo turn. But we did find another Bard class. Can sack Oath of Nissa to a Torture Tower to try and take out the Challenger. And make another Satyr. And then now with both attack, that's 8 damage total. And 1 blocker on defense. I guess it's fine to just hit for 5, have 2 blockers back. And then could technically channel Boseiju still. So yeah, the opponent's decision to leave Xenagos on the battlefield certainly backfired. And yeah, now Oath of Nissa should pretty much ramp it up. I'm gonna level up Bard class even more. Xenagos can maybe make some mana now. And now we exile 4 cards for each legend. Find Samut. So we don't need much more. Although a Hasty Colossus sounds fun. And then Agatha could also end up activating, but yeah, opponent scoops it up. Awesome, on to the next one. Okay, we're on the draw. And no Bard class, but a Commune. And then Oath of Nissa to hit our land drops. This hand does feel a little bit too fair if we don't find the Bard class right away. But I'll give it a shot, I guess. Taking a bunch of mulligans in a format with Thoughtseize is also not always the best idea. I'll grab a Copperline Gorge here. Opponent blue-black. And there's Thoughtseize. So if we had a Bard class in hand, it would have been taken here. And Gallia gets pushed. So far a pretty generic blue-black control deck. And yeah, Planeswalker might be the pick, even though I cannot play it right now. Shieldred, that's a good one. And there's Bard Class. So yeah, I'm not gonna waste any time. Play it while we can, level up. And then next turn we can maybe figure something out. Alright, so if I level up Bard Class to level 3, Mox Amber will enable it. But then I wouldn't be able to necessarily deploy Xenagos to keep things going. So it's a tough call. Could just go Xenagos plus partners. Xenagos makes a Satyr, which can chump Shieldred if needed. And then next turn we level up, play Mox Amber, and keep it going. Whereas now I'm kind of hoping to hit some cheap spells with a Mox Amber. But that might still be worth it. Because then we're just more likely to see a lot of cards. And we might be able to survive another attack from Shieldred. Opponent Sensors, that's fine. Could still find some free spells here. Not quite, just a Bard Class. Alright, so Shieldred will put us to 4 life at the very least. But now with a level 3 Bard Class, we're more likely to take over. Especially if we can start with a Mox Amber. Find Clothis, that's a way to gain life as well. Free Oath of Nissa. Could also consider torching Shieldred in case we find another torch along the way, and sacking Oath in the process. Don't actually hate that, I think we've got enough mana where we can manage. Bottom Boseiju. Finding Agatha. Play Domri. Which finds a replacement Domri. And now we can also fight Clothis and Shieldred for what it's worth. But might want to add a bit more devotion to the battlefield first to make sure Clothis stays a creature. And Burgi's excellent too. I'll keep it going. So we still have an activated Domri. Possible I can start thinking about leveling up another Bard Class. Take Samut. Alright, so is it time to maybe fight Shieldred here? That works.
We are the many.
So now I don't have to worry about drawing cards. But yeah, with Agatha in play, I'm pretty sure we can present lethal. And Ruby makes mana. Still haven't played Xenagos or Partners yet. So it might be time to deploy those. And there's another Mox Amber. That's +2 mana. Play Xenagos. Hasty Dinosaur. And then Voice of Dissent we can play. And then activate Agatha. So the opponent's one card needs to be pretty good for this not to be lethal. And that'll do it. Awesome. Yeah, the opponent was incredibly close to winning the game. Just one more attack with Shield Root would have done it. But goes to show the power of Bard Class. Even just a single turn with a level 3 Bard Class can completely turn the game around. So of course having it in your opening hand is ideal, but you can still potentially keep hands without it and find it along the way, and then it will still save the day. So yeah, I'm quite happy with where this deck ended up. A deck I've been playing for quite some time on Arena, and it keeps getting better and better, especially now with Pioneer Masters adding even more tools for the archetype. So I can definitely recommend it if you're looking for a slightly off-meta deck that is still a lot of fun to play. So that's going to do it for today's gameplay. Want to thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and as always, have a nice day.